Aflat într-o scurtă vizită la București, fostul consilier al președintelui Vladimir Putin a acordat un interviu exclusiv pentru Euronews în care vorbește despre efectul sancțiunilor impuse Rusiei. Actualmente expert la Center for Security Policy în Washington, Andrey Illarionov a stat de vorbă cu jurnalistul Euronews Andrei Nourescu despre situația geopolitică actuală din Europa și despre cât ne poate afecta războiul de la granița noastră de est.
Suntem așadar la Black Sea Forum și stăm acum de vorbă cu Andrei Illarionov, care nu se află la prima sa vizită în România. Hello, Mr. Illarionov. You are again back in Romania, a country which unfortunately now is with a conflict right at its borders. How do you see the importance and the contribution of Romania in all this actual conflict, Russia, Ukraine, and also the western part of the Europe? How do you think Romania is positioned?
Objectively speaking, the most difficult situation right now is definitely in Ukraine, because Ukraine became a victim of aggression from Russian troops, from Putin. So that is why the most serious and most difficult situation, the gravest situation, is in Ukraine. Romania does play important role in supporting Ukraine. Romania accept millions of refugees who came to Ukraine, to Romania or via Romania. Romania does provide some economic help and some military aid to Ukraine. By doing that, Romania is playing a very important role for supporting collective efforts of Western allies in defending freedom, independence, territorial integrity of Ukraine, and keeping united front against aggression.
You know very well also the situation in Russia and, of course, Russia position. How do you think the Western sanctions that are now focusing on Russia will affect them, and how long do you think President Putin can resist?
To be objective, all those sanctions that have been implemented against Russian economy and against some Russian personalities, even from year 2014, after annexation of Crimea and the launch of war in Donbass, and including those sanctions that have been implemented since February 24th this year, had very limited impact on the Russian economy. We need to recognize it. We need to understand that impact was very limited, and it's the sanctions alone themselves cannot change the tide of war. Europe needs to decide what is important for Europe, more important: freedom and independence and sovereignty and the peace on the European continent, or readiness and the readiness to contribute more to defense of Ukraine. If Ukraine will not be able to withstand this aggression against Ukraine and against Europe, Europe will suffer much more than cold winter.
And do you think Europe has the power to remain united in this campaign?
It depends on Europe. It's better to ask Europeans. But this is a very clear choice. Either Europe is united and supporting Ukraine, and this is a chance and the path to victory. Victory for Ukraine, victory for Europe, victory for the West. Or if Europe will not be united, if Europe will not be able to support Ukraine at this critical moment of history, Europe itself will be the next victim of the aggression.
Have the funerals of of President Gorbachev. A few words about what was representing him?
He was absolutely outstanding leader, unique leader in history of Russia, Russian Empire, Soviet Union, and so on. He was a person who launched unprecedented revolution for the former Soviet Union, for the communist space, for communist countries. He allowed to bring freedom to hundreds of millions of people in former Soviet Union and in Europe. So we're in great debt to that person for what he has done for all of us.